This is Todd from the Patriot Defense Podcast, and I just thought I'd jump on here and let you guys know that today we're going to do, actually this weekend, we're going to do something a little bit different. I know you guys are getting used to having us put out a new show every weekend, and we're still going to try to do that. Just unfortunately this weekend, even though I've got 3 or 4 guys in here that come in and do the podcast with me, we were all kind of busy. We had some family stuff going on, and we could not get together and do a show. I'm sorry about that. But instead of leaving you guys hanging, we don't have a lot of past shows that we can do like a best of series or something. But I'm going to go ahead and re-release one of our older shows, just so you guys have something that you can listen to. Maybe there's some new listeners out there that haven't listened to some of our old stuff, but there's plenty of it out there. Take a listen. I hope you enjoy it. Once again, this episode is going to be one of our old shows where I've talked about the times where I've actually had to use my firearm in self-defense and draw. Just kind of what I think is one of our better shows. So I am going to put it out there. You guys take a listen, and we will be back next weekend. Hopefully, I can put together a little bit of a longer show for us next weekend. And until then, have a great week and enjoy. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, conceal carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back. We are tucked away in the high desert of southern Idaho, tucked away in the war room. It is dark outside. This is a late show. I don't know what episode we're on anymore, and I don't really care. Hey, Dean, do you remember?
I have a bad case of CRS.
I think we are on episode 98.
Can't remember crap.
We are on episode 98.
Okay, make it so.
98. We'll have a big party in 2 more episodes. We'll be up to our 100th episode. And just because I want to have a freaking party.
We'll give away a free 5-star review on iTunes.
Dean's a little preoccupied. He's over there. I've got a bunch of knives out, and he's got a knife in each hand. And he's going to cut himself before the
Serious? I probably will.
Before the end of it. I knew Dean liked guns. I didn't know he liked knives so much.
I enjoy edge weapons. I can sharpen the crap out of anything. I got the goods to put a razor's edge on knives.
Free hat. A free Patriot Defense hat to one listener if Dean accidentally cuts himself during the podcast today. Because now he's going for the other one.
We'll go to the K-bar here, and we'll combine that with the dart.
The dart.
And that's it.
I have a feeling that Dean's going to go home and order some new knives.
Right?
How does it feel to hold a $250 knife in your hand?
Oh my gosh.
Feels good, don't it?
I think I just peed a little.
Enjoy that. Anyhow, this isn't the knife podcast.
Self-defense.
This is the self-defense. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. I'm fresh off the range. You might be able to hear it in my voice. Fresh off the indoor range. We had like 23 people show up today. So it was a good sized class. It was a fun class. So I'm going to get right into this. This is what I did, Second Amendment related. I did a class today.
Oh, good.
I had a class, lots of nice class, lots of good questions. Interesting guns in the class. I had a couple of high points. Had a little tiny 22 with a tip-up barrel on it. That was really interesting.
Who made that thing? What brand was it?
The 22?
The 22.
I believe it was a Taurus. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it had a little tip-up barrel, a little tiny 22, a little tiny short barrel.
So it was a semi-auto.
And
it had a magazine.
And it held
a tip-up barrel.
It's pretty interesting.
Huh.
It was an interesting.
Could the person wield it like it's supposed to be?
She ended up shooting it pretty well. The slide was really rough to pull back, so she had to load the magazine, put the magazine in, tip up the barrel, load one in the barrel, close the barrel, and then she could fire it without actually having to.
So she didn't have to actuate the slide in order to cock the thing or anything, huh?
No, pretty because it's a hammer fired deal.
Gotcha.
It was a pretty interesting little gun, and by the time we got done with class, she was actually pretty proficient with it. Another thing we had, and I'm going to throw this out there, and Dean doesn't know I'm going to bring it up.
Uh-oh.
It didn't come up in our pre-podcast meeting. Is a gentleman there had a Kimber 9mm, but it was one of the subcompact or one of the compact.
I've read about those.
That thing ran like crap.
Did it really?
It ran. It
not
jammed
Kimber.
up. It jammed up consistently. In fact, he put it down and he grabbed my pt 2.0 and started shooting it instead.
Oh no!
Yeah, he said I think there's a break-in period and he'd only put about 30 rounds.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
it was
still okay.
It was freaking garbage.
That's man. I've read about that thing on the Kimber website. Once in a while, I'll troll over there just to see what's new and beautiful with Kimber because they make gorgeous 1911s, and we all know your feelings about the 1911 there, Todd.
Yeah,
old, wrinkly, and
I sent you that meme, man. That was awesome.
That made me laugh so hard. But the meme had three young ladies in swimsuits. One looked like one of the girls from Parent Trap with a
Daphne off Scooby-Doo
or something. Yeah, she was just fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch coming down.
She was representing.
She was
Glock.
labeled Glock. And then there were two very very fit, very young ladies.
Say it, busty.
Very busty, wearing bikinis, and they were HK and Sig. And then right below them was a picture of
80-year-old grandma.
an 80-year-old, yes, one of our seasoned citizens who was wearing a sweatsuit, lifting weights,
Deadlifting.
deadlifting, and she was the 1911.
I will say this though: the guy that was the best shot in the class,
Yeah,
full size, Colt or Ruger Colt, full size Colt 1911, won
Nice.
that contest.
classic.
Won that contest. So he did good. They shined in the long run, but I've never been real impressed with those compact 1911 that Kimbers make. They just don't run.
Yeah,
In my mind, they just don't run.
That 9mm is a completely different critter altogether.
Even the 45 doesn't run. I've had
No?
those in my class.
Have you
either.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, but they look so good.
Everything looks nice. They make. That's why they sell them. They can
Right,
run
serious.
like crap, but they look like they're
Right.
nice. People will buy them.
And the one that I got, I should say, I bought it about, well, what year is it? Gosh, I got it back in the early 2000s, and at that time it was very very expensive. And it looks good. The bluing on the thing is absolutely gorgeous.
Because you don't do anything with it.
And
But
it's,
it sits in the safe.
Right, but now when I shoot it, it runs great. The trigger is just fantastic. It's like butter. It's crisp.
If you've got a gun
Light.
that's nice, why don't you carry it?
I want to wreck the gorgeous mirror finished bluing on it, Todd.
You can re-blue them.
Oh, I know, but not. Oh, the blue job on it.
Oh,
The bluing on it is fantastic.
wow, that's gonna kick us up to a totally different rating
Sorry.
in iTunes.
Oh, this is supposed to be a family show. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Hopefully the kids weren't bellied up to the
Gosh.
freaking speaker listening to the Todd and Dean Patriot Defense podcast.
Please don't tell my bishop.
Or your wife. So anyhow, let's change the subject.
Right.
So I've got a moral.
What's upcoming?
I got a moral dilemma.
What's that?
Whenever I have a class,
Uh-huh.
someone leaves things behind. For example, someone today left a coffee cup behind and a pair of earmuffs. They weren't the electronic ones, but they're a pair of earmuffs.
Yeah.
Somebody leaves. I've got 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 magazines, spare magazines that people left behind.
Do you know what
For-
they go to?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
guns that I don't even have.
Oh yeah, so
So those might be good listener prizes. I'll give those out. About 2 months ago,
Yeah.
someone left this really nice gun range bag, put out by 511. It's huge.
Yeah.
I priced these out. It's probably a $140 bag. It was empty.
For a bag?
Yeah, very nice bag. Very nice. Better than
Wait,
dumping
wait.
them all into my freaking backpack.
Wait. It was empty?
It was empty.
Why'd the guy bring an empty bag?
I
to
don't know.
class?
I don't care, but he left the bag here,
Huh.
and I was concerned. I was like, I need to get this bag back to this guy.
Yeah, it's nice.
So
So
he-
guy's probably missing it.
He called me up and he goes, "Hey, is there a bag over there?" I said, "Yeah, there's a bag." I said, "I put it in my Scout. I put it in the vehicle, my truck with me." I said, I work. I run around in Twin, Kimberly, Burley, wherever you're from. We can get this back to you. I'll meet you somewhere."
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll get it." I said, "Okay, well, whenever you're ready, just call me." He said, "Well, it'll be a little while." So I'm thinking a week. I'm thinking 2
Right.
weeks. It's been 2 months. So I'm thinking about this bag gathering dust in my truck.
Yeah.
So
So is at what point do you become common law married to this bag because he left it
last night,
last night? Okay, that's fair enough. There it is.
my wife saw me in the living room loading this bag up with guns and magazines, and it's a beautiful bag. I even have pockets that I haven't even filled with stuff.
Wow.
It's so big.
Well, that's perfect for your class then,
It's
because you
perfect for
gotta
my
bring
class.
all your stuff with you. Yeah.
So I've started using it. My wife's
Uh-huh.
like, "Man, that's not right." I'm like, why isn't it right? When does it become mine?
right.
When,
yeah.
Or when can I use it until they actually care enough to want it back? If I leave $140, $160 bag somewhere, damn it, I'm going to go get it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I started using it. It worked out fantastic.
Oh, I bet it
today.
did.
I stacked ammo in there. I had like 7 or 8 handguns in there. It's got pockets for magazines. I'd never bought
Pockets for
myself.
paperwork.
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
it was awesome.
Nice.
It was. So I don't know. I've got myself a new bag. It looks like.
Well, you've done your due diligence trying to get a hold of the fella, and
I would hope so.
yeah,
It's a beautiful bag.
serious.
I even came up a couple years ago. Someone left a blanket here. They were cold in the classroom. It was a really nice blanket. I got this new dog, and I needed
Yeah?
to put a blanket on the seat, so I used it.
That's your dog blanket.
So now it's a really nice
So-
wool blanket. It's now a dog blanket.
Wow, yeah. Common
not-
law marriage to your.
I don't know where the damn thing's been. I'm not going to put it on my bed. I'll give it to the dog.
Right.
So thank you for the blanket. Those people, I don't even know.
Right.
That was like 2 years ago. What else have people left? Jackets,
Yeah.
coats,
Mm-hmm.
coffee cups. I've had 2 or 3 of those. Lots of spare magazines, and now this gun bag. I'm waiting for someone to leave a gun.
I can't believe that they would leave magazines because
Oh yeah.
that's a part of your. Anyway,
I've got a Glock magazine. I got a
Yeah.
Smith & Wesson magazine. I've got an HK USP magazine. And some of these magazines are like $40, $50 mags.
They are. They're not cheap.
They're not cheap.
Yeah.
So I got them.
Huh. Well, you know what doesn't use magazines?
Revolvers.
Revolvers.
Yeah.
You don't have to have
One
a-
less thing you got to
Yeah.
remember. That's why old people like you, Dean, don't have to. That's why you like to shoot revolvers. Are you older than me?
I don't know.
How old are you, Dean?
I was born in '76.
Oh crap, we're the same age. So anyhow, you guys didn't just. I don't think our listeners really care about some of this stuff. So it's just me and Dean catching it. Man, I
Right.
should have pushed play in our
Right.
pre-podcast meeting.
That was some good conversation.
That was
there.
yeah, that was some good conversation.
Good points brought up. Yeah.
Next time.
True. Next time, yeah.
Okay, so what have you done this week? Second Amendment or shooting or gun or reloading related, Dean?
I can't even remember.
Anything?
Well, I'm carrying right now.
Are you? I'm not.
Yeah. What? Oh my! No, here, put on one of these knives real quick so you can
Give
say that you're carrying.
give me the broken
something.
revolver.
Right.
I'll throw it at him.
Oh shoot!
So that's all. That's all. You didn't do anything.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
work.
You know, I worked and looked at those articles that you sent on, a couple different things. Like the one article was about the NRA, the vaunted NRA, who apparently is paying board members who haven't shown up for several years. This article at one point said that there's some lady, I can't remember her name, who gets $250,000 annually to be on the board of directors at the NRA. She hasn't even shown up for 3 years. So yeah, there's your dollars at work right there.
You know, I'm not super impressed with the NRA as of late. In fact, NRA
Yeah.
to me stands for not really active. I'm
Tom,
not. I don't.
Well,
They frustrate me.
They're constantly hounding you for money, and
They're doing that, and
Sheesh.
they're starting to trade some freedoms for other freedoms,
yeah,
and they're just not. I don't know. I'm going to say right now, NRA and the other organization is the Gun Owners of America.
yeah,
I would go with the Gun Owners of America right now. over the NRA because I feel like they represent me better than the NRA does. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on in the NRA. I don't know. NRA is not for me. I'm not saying I hate the NRA because I don't, but it's not for me right now.
Well, we're grateful that we have organizations out there that are lobbying
Exactly.
in our behalf to do these good things. Even my father was a huge, you want to call him a gun nut, but he was big into rifles. He would take old sporters, old Mauser rifles, and he would turn them into sporters. He would turn them in any caliber you'd want.
Right.
Big shooter, big hunter. Every year he got an elk, an antelope, and a deer. Every year.
Awesome.
And near the last few years of his life, like the last 10 years, he was so frustrated with the NRA because it seemed like all they wanted was his money.
Yeah.
He got so sick of them just constantly hounding him for money. Calls, letters, everything. He just got sick of it.
I'm not an NRA member.
You're not? Todd.
I'm an NRA instructor, but I'm not an NRA
Not a
member.
member. Right?
I can be an instructor and not be a member.
I think I joined for like a 1 year, 10, 15 years ago. And I haven't been.
I'm not sure I ever
since.
joined.
I have a real hard time giving money to lobby groups.
I don't have money to give.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
besides that, lobby groups don't tend to like me very much.
Yeah, we know about your history with lobby groups. True.
True. So, I got a question for you. My wife, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Oh, gosh.
And my wife wants us to go with another couple, and they want us to go to a concert
Oh,
up in Utah.
I'm so sorry.
The concert will be fun. I'm not looking forward to Utah.
Yeah.
Utah's not my place.
Yeah.
But what always kills me and about these concerts is as far as the concealed carry options that you have for these concerts. You can't, even if the venue will let you carry a firearm there, if it is allowed for you to take that inside, it seems like the artists, whoever's using it, they always have their own security there, and they always poking and prodding and searching through bags with sticks and running you through metal detectors, and you can't get crap. Well, you can.
You can get crap through.
Yeah, you can't get firearms through. And part of me wants to carry, and just to see if I can get in with it. Part of me says my wife would be awful pissed if I did.
Right. Well, that'd be a great way to get out of it.
I want to go to the concert.
You
though.
really want to go?
It's a Bon Jovi concert.
Okay.
I know that's not your kind of music, Dean.
Who else is there anyone else opening?
I don't know.
That you even know?
Probably
any-
some crap band.
Right.
But
Anyway.
I'm excited to see Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
I'm
cool.
a
That's cool.
Child
That's
of
cool.
the 80s.
Yeah.
So, 1 year we went up to Boise to go to a concert, and I had my little knife in my pocket.
Okay.
And I noticed that they were wanding people, and they were making you searching bags. And I'm thinking, we just stood in this line for like half hour to get in, and I reached down and I'm like, oh crap!
Right.
I've got my $250 pocket knife with me.
Was it this one?
It was that one.
Oh, the dart.
The dart.
Okay.
So I shoved it. My wife caught me. I said, "Hey, give me your purse." And she's like, "What do you need my purse for?" I took the knife out.
Huh?
I put it in the bottom of her purse, and I set my keys and her keys on top of it.
So, then you send her through the line ahead of you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you take the burden off of you and give it to your wife and send her
She
in
doesn't
there.
look like she's going to be carrying anything. And what they did is they started searching through her purse.
Yeah.
And they saw the keys, and the thing went, beep, 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 the little wand beeped.
Uh-huh.
And they dug in there and they saw keys, and they went, oh, keys. Okay, you're good to go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like, I could have hit a freaking firearm in that thing. They weren't x-raying it. They were just metal detecting is all they were, right?
You gave the contraband to your wife so she'd take the fall.
And she almost didn't give it back to me.
Don't blame her, Todd.
I wasn't going to walk back to the car. She said, well, what if they find us? I said, well, guess what? They just got a brand new $250 knife.
I hate that. Same thing. I've had that with TSA. Go to get on a plane, and I forget I have my pocket knife, and
Just give it to him.
just give it to him. Like,
I've done that before.
Yeah.
It was
hate
a knife
that.
that had my dad's business company name on it, who he works for.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to him, hey, if you see this in that glass case that shows all the examples of what people tried to smuggle into this airport, and it says Wilbur Ellis, says the name of the company on it. Guess what? That came
That's
from me.
you. Shoot.
So, anyhow.
So what do you do? How do you're going to a place where you're going to be a soft target, but I don't know. I guess, because security is so tight at those places.
Is it?
You don't have to worry quite as much.
I still worry.
Yeah.
I was able to get a freaking pocket knife in.
Yeah.
I still worry. I still get concerned. So you just got to rely more on your situational awareness.
Right.
But
Use your OODA loop?
your OODA loop, which we're not going to get into OODA loop again today. But you rely on your situational awareness, your decision making skills.
Right.
Pay attention to what's going on around you.
Right.
Which is kind of hard to do. There's a lot going on at concerts. There's dark, it's light, people, lights and lasers and crap, and people are drinking and moving around all the time, and you got to kind of keep your head on a swivel. Still enjoy the show, but pay attention to what's going on.
Situational awareness, like you said. Yeah.
And stay in groups. I mean, when you're leaving and you have to walk back to your car, try not to take that shortcut through the alley. Okay.
Yeah.
Stay in groups. Stay in groups of people. There's going to be law enforcement out. You do what you can do until you can get back to your car or wherever you have your firearm. I will have a firearm with me.
Right.
It just won't be
it'd
with me.
you. Yeah.
It'll be locked up in my car, that kind of thing. So, here's another thing.
Huh?
If you're going to leave your firearm in your car, don't just leave it laying on the seat. Okay?
Right.
Lock it up in a safe that's somehow attached to your car, whether that's bolted to the floor, chained to the floor, whatever.
Right.
Put it in a little car safe, tuck it under the seat safely.
Yeah.
Safely away where people can't obviously see it. And if they do break into your car, they're going to have to actually work to get it.
Right.
So they'd be responsible with it.
They make itty bitty little safes you can put them in, like a clamshell, and then
They do.
and then you can use your trigger lock that comes with your Mossberg. Have you seen those things?
Yeah.
Mossberg sends those trigger locks with them. It's
I got
a
dozens of
padlock
them.
with a big wire. You can use that and just
I've done that
wire
with-
the thing around your seat.
I've done that with ammo cans.
Yeah.
And put a padlock deal on them, and I've done that
exactly,
for a long time when I lived in Kansas. So that's how I did it. So
Yeah, but that's a huge headache if you lose a firearm. Oh my gosh.
oh yeah, and just not even a headache, just the guilt of someone's got this firearm, and now they might go do harm to somebody. They might go shoot someone. They might steal someone's money or whatever.
When you get back to the moral dilemma, then you feel responsible for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So be careful, and you have to go to these places. I'll be going up there, and I will enjoy myself. If I'm not enjoying myself, and I'm too worried about that, my wife will be pissed anyway.
Well,
So
this is the same wife that said, "Was it Christmas? I don't need anything, Todd."
yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's the one.
Right? It's a trap.
It is a trap. It's always a freaking
It's
trap.
a trap.
Always a trap.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go up there and try to enjoy that concert. I'm gonna be
Situationally aware.
situationally aware. That's right. Throw me to the wolves. I'm gonna be unarmed. I'm gonna feel naked.
Right?
I'm gonna be naked at a Bon Jovi concert. Is
What?
that after
What?
that? Is that what you end up
What?
after the concert?
Blue job. What?
Exactly.
jeez.
Okay, some came up today in my class, and I thought we'd touch on. I know I've probably mentioned this. Okay, we're gonna back the train up here.
Huh?
When I first started doing this podcast, it was just me.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently have I brought Dean on. Dean, you're my co-host.
Right?
I brought Dean on as co-host, and so some of those first episodes, they are crap. They are 100% garbage. And I'm not saying what we do right now is fantastic, but it's way better than other crap. So I'm tied in with the moral dilemma right now. I'm trying to push the podcast.
Right.
I don't want people to tune into the podcast, listen to the first few episodes, and go, I'm not listening to this guy drone on and on by himself. So I'm actually slowly been kind of erasing some of the first episodes.
Oh, really?
Just to get caught up to ours.
Yeah.
So people don't go, this is boring, and listen to episode
cut it
1
off.
and cut it off and never go back.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of explaining to everyone, listen to the last 5 episodes. Listen to the last 6 episodes. Every week it's one more. So anyhow, I may or may not, I can't remember, have told about the experience I had where I've actually had to draw my firearm. I've actually had 2 experiences. Have I even told you about these, Dean?
No, I haven't heard about this.
Have
Todd.
you ever had to use your firearm for
Never.
anything?
Never have. No.
Okay.
No, I've never even had to pull a knife. I've never nothing.
I'll tell the story, and it's a little involved, okay? So hopefully you can keep up with me. I was living in Kansas. I'd moved down there. I lived there for about 6 years. And I was going fishing, and I was in Kansas, but I lived in a small town, about 200 people. But there's a lot of fishing, and you can go out into what they call the Flint Hills. It's not necessarily the mountains, not the desert, but it's just out and about kind of in the countryside. And there was this river that I like to go fish. And I like to go down and catch catfish. And one day I took my daughter down there. Now, to get to this river, there was a road, a dirt road off of a main road. And this road would go down through and across the river and back up. And a lot of roads down there actually went through, not over, like through the little rivers. Okay, the country roads were all dirt. They weren't paved.
Okay.
And you could park down there, or you could come back up to the top and park at the top. Now, this road also cut to the left and dead-ended at this real sketchy-looking house that was down there. And I would always park up at the top because I was always afraid that we get a good rainstorm, the river would come up and it'd flood you out before you could get out of there. Okay, that happened all the time down there. So I parked off to the side of the road, me and my daughter, and I can't even remember how my daughter Chloe, I can't even remember exactly how old she was. She was young. She was, oh man, she had to be, she's 14 now. She had to be like 5 or 6, I think. 6 maybe?
So really little.
She was really little.
Yeah.
And we went fishing. We went down to the river. I parked off to the side of the road. Unfortunately, when I pulled in, I kept my nose of my vehicle, my Tahoe, I was driving a Chevy Tahoe, aimed down the road and not back the way I needed to get out. I just pulled in and pulled off to the side. I walked down to the river. We did some fishing. Waded up the river, did a bunch of fishing. Had a good time. Good time with my little girl, taking her fishing. We were all done, and I had my firearm with me, of course. I walked back up the hill from the river. We both did. And I'm walking toward my Tahoe, and I noticed that there's some cars coming from this house toward me. And something didn't feel right about the situation. Something was sketchy. There were some odd people that lived out in the country over there. Some real odd people. There was a lot of, there was whiskey stills. There was people doing meth, meth labs, pot. I mean, the brush was thick. You could get away with it down there.
Gotcha, okay.
And there's some places that law enforcement actually never even went because they were scared. It was too dangerous.
Really?
And wow. I was walking up to my Tahoe, and these people were driving down the road. And as I got to the Tahoe, I was just about ready to open the door, and I parked. The passenger side was down into the brush, okay? Yeah. And I went around. I loaded the fishing poles up in the back of it, come back around these vehicles. There was like 3 or 4 vehicles, and they were coming up to me. And this lady was cackling at me. Where you been? Where you been? We've been looking for you. And this lady looked like something you'd see off Poltergeist. She was death warmed over. She looked like a crack whore. She looked like an 80-year-old crack whore.
Was she driving?
She was driving, and her face and her skin was all sucked in, and she was nothing but bones, and she just looked like a mess. And she's laughing. She was cackling like a freaking witch. Where have you been? We've been looking for you. I said, oh, I've been fishing. I'm going home now. Well, we've been looking for you. And she's cackling. And I was getting a little nervous at this point. So I'd reached over and I'd opened the driver's side door. And my daughter's there next to me. I had my gun on my right hip. It was concealed, obviously. And she kind of slowly said that. She said that she slowly drove by. And they were real close to me, like almost touching my door. And this other truck behind him was a Ford Ranger. And there was 2 of the biggest old bald-headed dudes that you'd ever seen wedged into this Ford. This is something right out of like The Hills Have Eyes. And if you're familiar with that movie, these were big old boys. They were a tiny 390 each of them. They were humongous. And they were twins. They had not a stitch of hair on their head. They looked exactly the same. Big old fat rolls on the back of their neck. They had dirty coveralls on, like suspender coveralls, and filthy wife beaters on, those white tank tops.
Yeah.
And they were just huge. And I'm getting a little scared, even a little nervous telling it. They pulled up in this little Ford Ranger, and they stopped. And I continued to open my door, to put my door between me and them. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. All the while, I opened this door. I got my left hand, and I'm working my daughter in around behind me. She doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
She's too young.
She's oblivious.
And I'm trying to shove her in. It's all happened so fast, but in my mind, it slows down. That's why I can tell you all these details. I'm working her behind me, shoving her up behind me over the driver's side seat to get to the passenger side of the vehicle.
Right.
Climb over the console, you name it. She's trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And I'm shoving her in there. This truck pulls up, this Ford Ranger, with these two big old boys in it. They stop. They put it in park. Both their doors open. They both stand. I still don't know what they're wanting. They both stand up to get out. And this truck, they're so big. When they get out of that truck, the whole truck races up. I mean, it's just, they're huge.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if I could have stopped them with my firearm, to be 100% honest with you.
Not a 9mm.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No.
I kid.
In all seriousness, I mean, I'm serious. That's what I'm saying. They were humongous. And they got up. They stood up. And as they stood up, Chloe, my daughter, I'd gotten her up into the Tahoe, and I could kind of see out of my peripheral she was in her seat.
Okay.
And I'm like, what do you guys want? And they got nothing. They just looked at me. And they started to walk around the doors. And at this point, I had my door open. My window to my Tahoe was up. The doors between me and them. And I reached down, and I put my hand on my firearm. They couldn't see it because the door was in the way. But they could see the motion of me raising my shoulder up. And I put my hand on my firearm, and I drew it up out of the holster. Okay, and so it's up here kind of by my chest. They still can't see it because the door's in the way, but it's up out of my holster in my hand. Not pointing at them, but right. They saw that motion, and they immediately stopped. They looked at each other. They sat back in their truck, gave me horrible, toothless grins. I'm serious. This is something out of a scary movie. And drove by me. And as they drove by me, another vehicle behind them with the same crooked, wicked, twisted-looking people in it looked at me too, drove by me very slowly, and just watched me. And as soon as I got the chance, I jumped in my Tahoe. I closed the door, and then I realized I had to turn around. And so that was going to slow me down. So I started it, put it in drive, turned around really quick in that dirt road, and I thought they were going to head back out to the main road. Instead, they turned back around when they got to the main road and came back at me. And they were driving toward me and didn't give me any room on the road. Dang near pushed me off the road. I think they were trying to prove a point or something. I still don't know what the heck they wanted. And then, so I drove down in the borrow pit, down the brush, back up around them on the road, and I never went back.
Shit. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, it was freaking scary. I was shaking. I was driving home. And this happened. Oh my gosh, how long have you been living here, Dean?
5 years.
So I've been here longer than I was here, and then I moved to Kansas for 6, and then I've been here longer than you've been here again. And so that was a long time ago, and I still remember every detail very vividly to this day. And occasionally I'll just be thinking about it. I even go to sleep sometimes where I'm just thinking about it, and I just replay it over in my mind. What could I have done? What could I have done?
Yeah.
And we never know what they wanted. I did talk to a sheriff's deputy about it once, and I said, "Hey, this is what happened. What do you think was going on there?" He goes, you were legal to be where you're at. He said they either had a whiskey still, a meth lab, they had a pot growing somewhere, a pot grow in there somewhere, marijuana grow, and they didn't know where you were at. They saw your vehicle. They didn't know where you were at. They were probably at that dilapidated, run-down, white, stalker-looking house down there.
Yeah.
And they didn't know where you were at, and so they wanted to scare you. They were trying to get you out of there.
Yeah.
And I said, what would have happened had I not? He goes, I don't know. They were probably just trying to scare you. It scared the crap out of me.
Right.
But everything worked out. I didn't have to obviously shoot anyone. I reholstered my firearm, got in the Tahoe, left, was a little shaken up. But it could happen. I was just going out fishing with my daughter that day. That's all I was doing. And it's just, it's a scary deal.
Yeah.
A real scary deal. And then the officer, deputy, whoever, he proceeded to tell me there's places out there the officers don't even go. The deputies don't even go. There's some weird roads out there that you'd think you're on a main country road, which is a dirt road, and it would just dead end in someone's house. And you'd have to turn around, and they'd all come out and watch you.
Right.
And some of them, there was signs hanging on the fences, no pigs allowed, keep out, stay out, animal skeletal remains hanging off the fence. And you don't have any choice but to go in there, stop, and you couldn't turn around necessarily. So you'd have to go in there, stop, put it in reverse, back up to turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, and they'd come out and watch you like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And you just thought this was a main road. I was scared lots of the time to actually go out in the country by myself.
In Kansas.
So
Glad I live in Idaho.
yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, there's bad stuff and bad people wherever you go. There's every place has their thing.
Yeah.
But that scared me to death. And and I keep asking myself, would I have pulled that trigger if I had to? You're dang right, especially because I had my daughter.
Because you have your 5-year-old daughter. there,
Especially
right,
because
with you.
I have to sit down and talk to my daughter and see if she remembers any of that. I never have asked her.
Never. What do they call it? Debriefed.
Yeah,
on what
I've
happened,
never.
what
I don't
was
know.
going
If,
on.
I don't know if she would or not. I'd be interesting. I'll talk to her, and if she remembers any of it, it'd be interesting if she remembers enough of it to get her on here and just have her give her
See what
her
what
take
she
on
remembers.
it. Yeah.
Has she ever seen The Hills Have Eyes?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so. But they were some scary looking people there.
Yeah.
So I had one other instance where I went outside with my firearm because I was unsure what was going on. So I won't say exactly where I lived here, but I live locally. And
this was in Idaho.
this was in Idaho, and it was dark, and we lived in a place that had an extra. It was on a big lot. It was separated. We lived in like the mother-in-law house that actually had separated, so it was its own piece of property. But there was a giant house next door that was empty, and a farm that went with it. But that wasn't our property. But we were like right next to each other, and there's a pretty main road out in front of us. And I heard this noise one evening. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And I'm not saying these guys meant to do me harm. I'm not sure, but it was really unusual what happened. I heard some like a loud car, which that's not unusual.
Yeah.
But I looked out because it just kept going by. Go down 1 mile, you could hear it and see it. And go in front of the house, and you could hear it and see it. And then it pulled over to where no one lived next to us and drove around the farmer's sheds. And it was this huge, like, I don't even know exactly, but some 4-door, I'm going to call it a tuna boat. It's huge. It was like a big Lincoln Continental or some crazy, huge, long car, old car. And it was loud, like it was missing some elevators. Oh, it was loud. It was shaking the house. And as soon as they pulled over there, I knew the guy who owned that over there, but no one lived there, and I just kind of wanted to keep an eye out. So I didn't go out looking for trouble. I just stepped outside to see what was going on. I went out there, had my T-shirt on my basketball shorts on, and I grabbed my my Glock, my G19, and it was loaded, and I was careful with it. It wasn't in a holster because I'm wearing basketball shorts, and I had it in my hand, and I kind of tucked my hand with that firearm into the pocket, and I'm standing there just to see what's going on. I didn't want to scare anyone or bother anyone if they were legitimately supposed to be there. Some crazy guy with a gun. Anyhow, they saw me, and they roared back up and down the road a few times. I'm kind of standing in my driveway watching them going, man, these guys are nuts. They're going to kill someone. They're just going like nuts. And all of a sudden, they come back down the road, and they tore into my driveway. And you know where I'm talking, right?
Yeah.
They tore into my driveway, and they had their brights on. And when someone has their brights on you, you can't see anything.
Right, you're blind. Yeah,
I'm
blinded.
blinded.
By the light.
I'm blinded by the light. And I'm like, I really can't see anything. And all I hear, I see 4 doors open, and 4 guys get out. And they come walking toward me, and I'm thinking, I'm at a disadvantage right now. I can't see anything. I'm standing here. There's 4 of them. I can't even tell. I couldn't see their faces. I couldn't tell you anything about them. Just there are 4 guys. I could tell they were guys. They got out, and I said, can I help you? And they looked at me, and they kind of looked at each other, and they went, have you seen our cows? Our cows are out. We're looking for our cows. Have you seen our cows? I'm like, there's no cows around here. These are farmer fields. There's no cows around here right now.
This is agriculture, not dairy.
Yeah, there's no cows right here. And he's like, but our cows are out. We're looking for our cows. And they kept kind of walking toward me. And I actually pulled my hand out of my pocket with the G19 in it and just kind of held it by my side. I said, I haven't seen your cows, your cattle, your animals. I haven't seen anything here. And they just stopped. They looked at each other. They got back in their big old car and roared off down the road. Didn't say a word, left. I've never seen that car. I lived there for many years after that. Never saw that car. Never heard. You could hear the car. I know which one it was. Never saw it. Never heard it roaring up and down the road. Never anything. Absolutely nothing. So I don't know if they were legitimately looking for some kind of lost critter or not, but the fact that they saw me when I pulled my gun out of my pocket and they got in their car and roared off, and I never saw that car since, just leads me to believe that who knows what they were doing. I have no idea. I have no explanation for that. It's never happened again. I asked some neighbors. They never have seen them. They never had trouble like. I don't know. I have no idea.
Dang, Todd.
Scary, huh?
Yeah.
So I can tell you right now, don't ever confront me because I will have a firearm on me.
Yes.
Okay,
Except right now.
Except for right now. I got knives. We got knives and a broken
knives
revolver.
and a broken 357. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a hammer.
And a hammer. And what are you looking around? I got a drill.
Oh yeah, there's and
What else do I got?
a stud finder
Got a grenade.
and a dummy grenade.
It's not a dummy. I could throw that at someone.
Yeah, like a big rock. Okay.
Yeah. But have you seen this? Here.
You showed me.
Play with it.
I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm playing with. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull
yeah.
the pin with my teeth in it.
It's about as useful as carrying a firearm without one in the chamber.
It's kind of like a high point.
Yeah. Gosh.
So, anyhow, that's my stories, and I'm not saying that's why. I mean, that is why I carry now. That's not what started me on carrying. I was carrying way before then.
And
but,
good thing you were carrying before then.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. Everyone, I won't say everyone, but some people have their scary stories, and that was my scary story, and it made me look at things a little different. I really am careful when I see people. Where I live right now. Literally my driveway is half a mile long.
Yeah.
Now I have some neighbors that live on it too, but they live further down, and then you probably got almost a quarter mile from the last house to my house.
Yeah.
And so if someone comes down here, I know they're farmers. There's some farmers that use the road. I know who they are. And if someone comes down here, I guarantee, and I'm home, I will meet you out in the driveway. You're not coming up to the house, and I will have a gun on me, whether I have it out or not. I doubt. But there will be a gun on me somewhere.
Yeah.
I've had people show up, turn around, and leave. And I think maybe sometimes they think that we're someone else's house, and they like come down here at dead ends and are like, oh crap, I shouldn't be here.
Or they thought the road went through or something.
Or something. But I will meet you out in the driveway every time.
True.
I guarantee. Yeah. I sit in my living room with the shades up, and I can watch the TV and see who's coming. It's just the way I live my life.
It's not like you're sitting on the porch just waiting for someone to show up.
Right.
No,
I'm situationally aware. I know
Yeah.
what goes on. I know who should be down here. I know the guy that works the field next to me. I know who the ditch rider is and when he shows up. I mean, I've only lived here a year, but I know all this stuff because I pay attention to what goes on around me.
Yeah.
So, other than that, no scary situations for you? Do you have any situations that'll be
The only situations that I've been in that were scary were because of my own stupidity, because I was a jackass and
caused them?
And caused them, yeah. Like I was delivering. I used to work for Pizza Hut delivering pizzas, and I lived in the eastern part of the state in a town not unlike where we are now. It was Pocatello, and I was looking for an address and I couldn't find. This is before we had GPS.
Right.
And, and smartphones and all that. So I was doing it the old-fashioned way with a map. And I was going 25 and a 35, and I had these guys that were just tailing me, riding me. So I'm not paying attention. Then I look in my rearview mirror, see these guys. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give them a brake check. I give them a brake check, and then I found my address, and then I turned to this apartment complex, and the guy that was right behind me
pulled in too.
Yeah, and I pulled around the complex a couple times, circling
He
it.
followed
He
you, didn't
followed me until he pulled right in front of me, stopped, and got out and comes up and starts yelling foul language at me, telling me, here this, that, and the other, and
road rage.
Road rage. He was very angry, and if I had been allowed to carry, I would have pulled my weapon at that point, but I didn't.
Right.
And just kind of stayed in the car, didn't get out, didn't confront him. I just, that car was a piece of crap, and I couldn't roll down the windows because the car was falling apart. But I opened it up just a little bit so I could talk to him, but I did not get out. And crazy. He followed me all the way back to the Pizza Hut and yelled at the manager about
your
me.
driving skills.
My driving skills, yeah, and he was using foul language.
Oh,
Terrible
give him a
foul
free
language
pizza;
right there.
it'll
It's
shut him up.
Oh my gosh!
He obviously had nothing better to do.
Yeah, obviously.
So
yeah.
So that's your situation. I had my two situations. Then I didn't have another. I had another situation. It didn't happen to me. It was to my wife, and she had a firearm on her. I had just left for work. I left for work early in the morning, like at 3:00 in the morning. Got to almost to where I was going to work, and my wife calls me and says, "Oh my gosh, what do I do? There's someone pounding at the door." And she had woke up because I woke up and I got ready. She goes, "Someone is pounding at the door," and she goes, "I peered out the window."
And granted, this is when you went to work
Yeah.
really, really early.
Really, really early.
Yeah.
So before I go to work, and I'm kind of anal about this, even in the summertime, I will go out and I will warm my vehicle up. It's
Yeah.
what my dad taught me years ago. I'll let it warm up for 5-10 minutes. Just what I do. Let that oil gap, you know.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, I don't know. It's what I do.
Right.
So I would go out in the driveway. I would start the vehicle. I'd go back inside, and sometimes I'll eat breakfast, depending on how cold it is. And then I'll go back out there. Vehicle's warm, windows defrosted, whatever, whatever I need. So, but that morning I'd started it. I'd went inside, and I'd come back out, and I left. I honestly think so. Here's what my wife said happened. Not too long after I left, she heard some pounding at the door, and she looked out the window, and there was a guy with a black backpack. She never saw his face. Black pants, black backpack, black hoodie with the hood pulled up over his. Did I tell you about this?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah,
about
with
this,
the hood pulled up over his head and kind of down around his face, and he was pounding on the door. She never talked to him. She never let him in.
Well, and another thing, you were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This house was in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
so there is never any pedestrian traffic through
Well,
there.
and what creeps me out is honestly, I think, and she didn't have any lights on. Honestly, I think there was lights on when I was there. I think that he, whoever it was, maybe it wasn't a he, maybe it was a she, I don't know, that this individual saw me. And I think that they saw me, because they could have been easily out on the road somewhere, and I wouldn't have seen. And I think that they saw me when I warmed my vehicle up, and I think they saw me when I got in the vehicle and I left, because that's when they showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been a beacon out there. The lights on, car lights on.
Right, and it's
why
flat.
would, if you needed help,
No trees around,
if
nothing
you
in the middle of nowhere.
needed
Yeah.
help, why wouldn't you have approached me then?
Right.
Why would you approach my house after I leave when the lights are off, pound on the door, unless you're up to no good?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You need a ride, you need gas money, you need help. Hey, look, somebody is awake over here at this house. I've seen them outside at their vehicle.
Yeah.
Steal my car or come up to me and ask for whatever you need.
Yeah.
So she calls me, says this is happening, says she looked out the window, this is who it is. I love my wife to death, but we aren't always on the same wavelength. She asked me, what do I do? What do I do? I said, oh my gosh. I said, call the police.
Right.
I didn't want to get her upset. So I said, get your gun. It's loaded. Get your gun. You have your gun. Go grab the kids, because they're spread all over the house.
Yeah,
This house
yeah.
had a horrible setup for bedrooms. Grab the gun. Grab the kids. Take them all back to your room and call the freaking police. I said, is he still at the door? He's like, no, he left. I kind of saw him walk off. I said, well, that doesn't mean he's gone.
Right.
Okay, and we do have other people that live on that road, not right next door, but on that road. I said, you need to call the police. You need to call the sheriff's department and tell them what's going on. And you need to tell them that this person has left. Tell them the direction he went. They need to come check it out, because we do have neighbors to a certain extent.
Yeah. Well, like a couple 100 yards down.
Yeah.
Quarter mile down.
But there's
yeah.
people there, you know. If he's wandering around doing this, he may just hit up the next house.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against law enforcement at all. But the saying is true that when you need them, when seconds matter, they're 10, 15 minutes away. Especially when you live in the county. I don't expect them to be everywhere at once. That's why I believe in firearms and protecting yourself if you absolutely have to. I understand that. We are the first responders.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works.
Right.
But what I don't get is my wife talked to him on the phone, and they came out supposedly. She could hear them on the radio walking around the house. I told my wife, I said, don't go outside. They will knock on the door. They'll let you know what they find.
Yeah.
She heard them walking around the house. We have rocks all the way around the house, like a rock flower bed. She heard them walking through there. She heard the dogs bark, and then nothing. She thinks it was them.
They didn't announce their presence.
They didn't announce their presence. They didn't
didn't
knock
say,
on
hey,
the
it's
door.
all clear, things
They
are okay.
didn't call her on the phone. They just were there and supposedly there, and then they weren't there. So they ended up falling asleep, all of them in our bedroom on our bed, and woke up, and that was that.
Scary still.
Scary still. You
Yeah.
don't know. I'm sure that was them she heard. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of doubt in my mind, but there's 99% of me says it was them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyhow, she did right. She didn't open the door. She didn't try to talk to him. She didn't try to make contact with whoever was pounding on the door. And even when she assumed that might be law enforcement out there. She didn't go outside. Let them do their job.
Yeah.
She did
Don't
well.
get in the way. Yeah.
She did well. I wish she would have called 911 before she called me.
Yeah.
I still want to know what's going on. And we talked about that. I think she was just caught off guard. That's never happened before. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You know? And so she did right. And that was the same house where the people pulled up in the big Lincoln Continental, opened their doors and blinded me with their lights and stuff. So I don't know. Pretty interesting. I'm
Right.
just kind of waiting for the next experience at this point.
The next crazy to happen.
Yeah.
True.
It could happen on my way from the war room to the house. We don't know.
Right. With your new dog.
With my new dog.
He'll come up and just pee himself because he's so excited to see you.
Probably. So, anyhow, that's
kind of a heavy show today, Todd.
it. Was kind of a heavy show.
Yeah.
I've told those stories, most of those stories on the radio, and I think I might have thrown them on the podcast, but we got a few new listeners, so I thought I'd just throw them out there again. And I'd like to get, I keep telling, people are going to think I'm lying. I'd like to get some listeners on the show.
Yeah. To tell their stories.
To tell their stories, if they have stories.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, and we could start with mine. We could even think about mine and talk about it next episode. I don't care. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? These are all learning things. I think about these situations every single day and think of, okay, how could I have handled that better? Nothing went wrong. No one got hurt. But what did I do wrong? One of the things that pops up to me is in Kansas and with my daughter when we were fishing, I could have turned my car around.
Yeah.
So I didn't have
to get out.
To get out, yes, to get out, because they could have easily have boxed me in there.
Yeah.
You know, and the ground over there, because it rains all the time, is always very muddy, and I guarantee you, if I got off that road, I would not have got far. But you know, that's one of the things I could have done. My wife knew she knew we were going fishing, and she knew the name of the creek, but she didn't know where.
Right.
She was unfamiliar with the area. She wasn't. We only lived there a couple years. It was relatively new to us, so that's a deal too. She could have known where I was at.
Yeah.
I could have told her, someone else, something. I mean, I don't know what else I could have done.
I'm guilty of this too. Whenever I go for a bike ride, I don't know exactly where I'm going to go beforehand. I just tell my wife, "Hey, I'm heading to Hagerman."
Right.
Or, yeah, I'm heading north this time. Maybe I'll go to Gooding or wherever. But
it's good to let somebody
you
know.
know exactly where you're going. Yeah.
The best that you can. At least with cell phones nowadays.
Yeah. Now you can
have
find your
trackers
friends. Or,
and
yeah.
they can ping you and all kinds of stuff. But no one knew where I was at.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of what and maybe I shouldn't have left my house to try to. Maybe those guys would not have pulled into my driveway on the second story had I not come out of the house.
Yeah.
Maybe if I would have just stayed in the house, they would have. I honestly think they pulled into my driveway because they saw me. I have no idea what they wanted. Maybe they were really looking for their cows. I have no clue.
Who knows? Wasn't that an old dairy down the road from you? But there's no cows down there.
But it had sold out. There was nothing there. So I have no idea what they wanted. So I'm sure I could have played that. You can always look back in hindsight. Hindsight's 20/20, and think you could have done something better. Could have done something different. If you're listening right now and you want to critique it, I'm okay with it. Critique it.
Right.
Get a hold of me.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we'd love to hear some kind of feedback. We got some feedback, and that's fantastic. If you've got my number and you've text messaged me, or you found me on Facebook, that's fantastic. You can, under Patriot Defense on Facebook, yep, that's the email address. I'll give that out in just a second. You can find me on Patriot Defense Facebook page. There's 2 flags and an arm and a hand holding the firearm, okay? It's pretty easy to find. Like the page, you can message me there. You can... I'm going to throw this out there. You can call me and text me if you want. The number's everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
My phone number is area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. Get a hold of me there. I'm constantly on that thing, texting. I had some guy call me up last night. He was kind of interested in a class, but he called me because he wanted to tell me a story about a firearm that he had. He had heard me talking on the radio, and he just wanted to shoot the breeze with me.
Oh, how fun.
And so I talked to him for about 20 minutes on the phone.
Oh, that's funny.
Talked
Todd.
about guns, some stuff that happened to his firearm, and he wanted to know the experience that I've had with mine. And we talked about shooting and hunting, and I didn't even know this guy. It's fantastic. I like helping people. I like talking to people. Call me up. I'll talk to you.
That's hilarious.
And if you do want to send an email, you can do that too. Send that email to patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. That's patriotdefense13 or 13 at yahoo.com. shoot me an email there, and I'll make sure I text or check my trash folder just to make
Junk
sure
mail.
stuff's
Right.
junk mail, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna look. I haven't looked at that in a long time. I'll probably look
Yeah.
at there. It'll probably be 400 emails or something.
right, and they're all from Japan.
Yeah, Japan. We
Our
haven't
listeners in Japan.
We haven't got any new countries so far.
No.
So maybe this one will reach new countries.
Right, great.
So anyhow, get a hold of us there. Let us know what you think. Criticize me. Maybe you want to be on the show. I still have an extra mic that's not taken out of the box
Or
yet.
maybe we can get like put your phone on speaker and we can have a caller.
I gotta figure out. There's got to be a better way to do that, and I'm
There's got
gonna
to be a way to plug it into your.
I'm
your mic jack.
gonna research it. We'll figure it out. We'll
True.
figure something out.
True.
So I think in a couple Saturdays, I think Eric from Napa is gonna come on.
The manager at Napa.
The manager, the auto parts manager at Napa. That's right.
He on a dart. This knife is called a dart.
Anyhow, Dean's playing with all the knives over there. I gotta. No one gets a free hat. He hasn't cut himself yet.
Right. Yeah.
I keep expecting him to do that deal where you Russian roulette where you stick your hand out and you go ting ting ting
from
ting, ting, ting,
yeah, from Alien. Yeah.
ting. Yeah.
I'm not Bishop. I'm not gonna do that.
So anyhow, I think we're done here. I need to go shower. I've been in the range all day. I need to eat. I need to sit down. I need to watch some TV. So
True.
I got to help my daughter move tomorrow. So I got to, yeah, not just some other, one of the other daughters.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So anyhow,
True.
thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Share it with your friends. Rate and review and give us 5
5 stars.
freaking stars.
And then the world comes into alignment. There will be world peace. No more nukes in North Korea.
And Dean will show up for our next show.
True.
Okay. See you later. Bye. So here we go. We're going to give this a try. Dean's over there playing with
Ovaries.
the... Damn doctors.